5 o'clock.
Ciao, benvenuti. I'm Marisa and you are at All Our Way. And today's day 2 of building your sourdough starter. I don't know whether you started yours yesterday or not, but follow along, and if you want to do this at a later date, we'll save these videos and you can do it later. So I'm really excited about this. I put my starter, what's going to be a starter, underneath the light. Here it is. I put that in here under fluorescent light to stay warm, and it stayed at about 80 degrees, which is fine. So if you're just joining me, I'm Marisa at All Our Way, and we are building a starter for sourdough, and this is day 2, and I'm really excited. So this morning I checked this out, and if you can see, not a whole lot going on, but that's okay. We knew that after one day you're not going to get that super buildup that's really going to town. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take 113 grams, or about a half a cup, away from the starter here. So I think that's a cup. Wait a minute. Yeah, I do everything in grams. So when I'm talking about cups and things like that, okay, discard about half a cup. All right, so I'm working with my scale. If you're not working with a scale, it's a half a cup. So I'm going to turn it on. And remember when I was talking about tare? Okay, this is a bowl that I'm going to use to weigh that. I'm going to put that in, so I'm going to have to hit the on again 0, and it goes back down to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this. All right, mix this up real well. And then I'm going to take some out until it reaches 113, or 4 ounces. Either 113 grams, or if you're working with ounces, it's 4 ounces. So let's see what we are here. Well, come on. It does get sticky, and you know what wet dough is like. So I'm going to get some more out. We're at 3 right now. Let's see if this will put it at 4 ounces. Now if I switch this, exactly. Okay, this I'm going to get rid of. All right, now what we're going to do is remove all that, and then I'm going to go down, tare it again, which means put it down to 0, and then I'm going to add enough water. I'm going to add 113 grams worth of water. The water can be room temperature. If your house is really, really cold, you might do a lukewarm temperature, and that is either filtered water, distilled water. It can be tap water, but if it's really highly chlorinated, be sure that you set it out the night before, and that will get rid of some of the chlorine. So if you're just joining me, I'm Marisa at All Our Way, and we are doing day 2 of building your sourdough starter. So I'm going to add water first. Okay, I'm going to tare this down to 0. Take that out of there. And I'm going to add enough water so it goes to 4 ounces. Which is about a half a cup. So I'm doing this carefully because I don't want to go over. I could always pour it out because it'd be easy enough because it doesn't mix up real fast. Almost. We're there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this up. It's easier to stir up the liquid with what is in there. Whoops, kind of messy there. before I start adding the flour. And this time the flour, we're no longer using the pumpernickel or the whole wheat. We're going to use all-purpose flour. And again, unbleached, unbromated. I use King Arthur's. I like it, but there's other ones out there that are the unbleached all-purpose flour. This is yesterday. Remember when I had my my whisk? This is a time when you probably could use the whisk because you're trying to get that liquid and that loosen that up. Okay, see it's kind of mushy, and I'm cleaning off the sides, trying to get everything all wet. It's easier to do it that way. I could have put this in the oven with the oven light on, but yesterday Honey decided to make pumpernickel bread with the rest of the pumpernickel I had, and it turned out really good. So we were using the oven. So I had to find a different method of keeping the starter warm. All right, now, okay, we're going to put it back on. We're going to tare it again. That sounds funny, but it's T-A-R-E. Tare it back down to 0, and we're going to go for the all-purpose flour. And we're going to need 4 ounces of this. Okay, now let's see. And I meant to have ready, show you the book that I got me interested in all of this sourdough. It's by Ed Woods, and I got the real old book. He's got a new one out, and I got that one too. But he used to travel the world collecting different recipes, or collecting sourdough, and some of his stories are hysterical of how he managed to talk people out of their sourdough starter. And there is a misconception. There's a myth going around, and I've read it in several big places, and he denies that it's true. That he says that if you take your sourdough starter and you take it someplace else, that sourdough starter will no longer have the same germs or the same bacteria, the same thing. It will take on something else. And he said that's totally false, because he's had his Tasmanian sourdough next to his French sourdough, and one did not talk to the other, combine with the other. There we go. Let's turn that on again. Okay, a little bit more here. Okay, there. Okay, so now we're gonna stir this up, and remember when I said yesterday that you had to try to get air into it. Seems like it's a lot mushier now. Now it's not going to. Okay, let's see. Let's take this off, go down to 0. Let's see how much all of this weighs. Okay, this weighs approximately 15 1/4 ounces. So if we had 4 ounces, okay, that's just about right. Okay, with the weight of this thing here. Glass is really nice to have, because you can mark it and then see the little bubbles. I've seen a lot of people, they take a rubber band off their ball jar, and that way they can kind of see how their starter is doing. Okay, this is a lot mushier, more pancake-like than yesterday. So again, I'm just going to cover it up. And today you don't have to have quite as high of a temperature. 70 degrees is ideal. If your home is a little bit less than 70, well, try to find a place that does have 70 degrees. You don't want to get it too hot, and you don't want it cold either. There, okay? Now I'm going to whisk this all down. Then I'll put the lid on it very, very loosely, and we'll see how it does tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll be coming back here at 11 o'clock again, and hopefully we'll see some activity, some little bubbles going on in there. And remember, I did go ahead and use that Ed Wood's Italian sourdough that he did. And what it was a freeze-dried sourdough in about 1/4 of a cup of flour. And I've had it for a long time, so I don't know whether it will turn out to be the Italian sourdough or not, or if it'll just be plain old sourdough, because I did use the pumpernickel. Okay, there we go. So we have this all ready to put back in here. Where is it? Oh, here. The reason I did that is because I can set it in here and the heat stays in there. But I don't think I'm going to need this today, because at 70, I don't need it at that 80 degrees or higher to get it going. 70 degrees is fine, and you don't want it to poop itself out. In other words, hurry up and use up all of its energy. You want it to slowly build, because the slower it builds, the better it's going to be. Once we have an active sourdough, then you can really use it almost right away, and within 2 hours, if you can really get a good starter going. So that's it for today, and I hope to see you tomorrow. And hopefully we're going to have a little bit of activity in this little boy here. So until tomorrow, arrivederci. Ciao, ciao.